So B'ezrat Hashem, today we're starting to learn about Pesach. The Gemara says that you need at least 30 days before Pesach to study Halakhot Pesach. It's the most complicated Halakhot. And the reason for that is because one crumb of Hametz can render a full pot, right, not kosher. Right? One small mistake can make your whole kitchen not kosher. Right? So many complicated things in Pesach we're going to try to explain. But since the law are so complex, the Gemara says, 30 yom kodem HaPesach, dorshim v'shoalim b'ilchot HaPesach. 30 days before Pesach, you start already inquiring, to ask and to learn and to clean your house. You have also time to clean your house. There's a lot of halakhot also cleaning the house. What needs to be cleaned? No, it's not so simple going to a hotel. It's not so simple going to. Even going to a hotel, you're not right. What do you do with your house? When do you do bdikat Hametz in your house? Right? There's a lot of laws still that's applied. And going to a hotel, one of the things you should find out who are the organizers, right? Huh? Yeah, but who is organizing the program? You're going to a program in a hotel. Who is the organizer? Right? What's the kashrut? Right? One of the question is, you ask them, tell me, how many mashgiach you have with you in the program? He's going to tell you two mashgiach for 500 people. You know, it means nothing. You know what's to kosher kitchen? Usually they take hotels. They take not kosher hotels, and they have to kosher the whole place. Two mashgiach is not enough, right? And also two mashgiach, they have to be in the kitchen when the cook is cooking, right? So it's not only a cook, it's waiters, it's all kinds of people. You have to watch all this, right? So it's not so simple to go to, it's better to stay home and at least you know what you're cooking, what you have, than to go to a program which you don't know what they give. That's it, right? Yeah. So it's complicated. So we have to learn. And according to what we learn, slowly, we would know more or less what to look for, right? So let's start with the verse in the Torah. In the Torah says, Kikol ochel chametz v'nichreta. Whoever eats any chametz, right? Not any, there's a size to it. V'nichreta, it's karet. Means, if you eat not kosher, what's the punishment from the Torah? If you eat not kosher and two people see you and they tell you it's not kosher and you still eat it, right? The law is chayav malkut, 39 lashes. Okay? That's if you eat not kosher. Let's say no one saw you and you ate not kosher. So you are in default over the Torah in a prohibition called lav. Lav means the Torah says, don't do that. There's 365 lavim in the Torah. So if no one saw you, you are in default of a lav. Okay? But there's no karet, there's no... Hametz, bepesach, if you eat chametz bepesach, right? You're dealing with God directly. You're not dealing with bedin. V'nichreta, the Torah says, karet. What's karet, chad shalom? Before 60 years old, this person leaves the world. Heart attack, accident, who knows what. Min hashamayim, they decide what to do with him. Okay? You know, so it's not so... So Chachamim come and they want to protect us. Chachamim here are for our good. Like the Torah, like it says in Pirkei Avot, V'asu siyag laTorah. The Torah gives the right to Chachamim to put barriers to protect Am Yisrael. Right? For example, when we were at Har Sinai, right? Moshe Rabbeinu had to put a fence around the mountain. Why? Because the Torah said, whoever's going to touch the bottom of the mountain dies. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, why should we take a chance? You know, if somebody by mistake wants to get next to Har Sinai to touch it, or to his sheep ran away and he's going to get it and he's touching it, he's going to die. So Moshe Rabbeinu put boundaries like a fence around so no one can go touch it. Right? The same thing. The Torah puts boundaries so no one can, Chav Shalom, go over it. So Chaim came and they put a big boundary. What's the boundary? So let me explain. We all know that during the year, if a not kosher piece of meat or any not kosher piece of food falls into a pot, what do you have to do? You have to measure and see if the food in the pot, the quantity, the size of the food has 60 times more than the not kosher piece that fell in. So basically, if you have a not kosher piece, let's say the not kosher piece was 10 grams, right? I need 60 times more. So if I have in the pot 600 grams or ml, right? In the food, like in the water, the sauce, the vegetables, the meat, whatever it is. If I have at least 60 grams against the not kosher piece, which is only 10 grams, batel gets nullified, this gets nullified, you can eat the whole pot. Right? You can eat the whole pot. The only thing, if you see the not kosher piece, you take it out, you throw it, and if you don't see it, you mix the pot and you heat the whole thing. That's the halakha for the rest of the year. But on Pesach, you have 1 gram in a pot that has 2 liters. No good. No good. You have 1 gram, one of a crumb of bread. In a big pot, everything no good. Okay? Now, where do we learn this law? Where does this law come from? 60. Where does 60 come from? Where do we learn batel b'shishim? That's it. A piece of cheese falls into meat. If the meat has 60 times the size of the piece, batel, it's nullified. Where does it say in the Torah this? We don't find the pasuk in the Torah. We don't find, but the source has to be Torah. Where does it say this? So this halakha is found in something interesting, right? Somebody wants to become Nazir. You know what's Nazir? He's not allowed to drink wine 30 days. He's not allowed to go to visit the cemetery for 30 days. He's not allowed to cut his hair for 30 days. It's called Nazir. Okay? So this Nazir now, right? This Nazir, when he finishes 30 days, he has to bring a sacrifice to Bet HaMikdash. He has to bring 3 sacrifices. But one of the sacrifices is a ram. Okay, a ram. He has to bring ayil. In Hebrew, okay, it's called ayil. In English, it's a ram. This is where we take the shofar from, right? On Rosh Hashanah. Rak Nazir. Okay. Now, what does the Kohen have to do when he comes to the Kohen? The Kohen takes the ram, he cooks it in a pot. He cooks it in a pot. After the ram is cooked completely, okay, he takes the right foot of the ram, he takes the right foot, he cuts it off, and he gets it. The Kohen gets it. He gets to eat it. The Kohen gets to eat it. Okay? Just the right foot. The zroa, b'shela. It's called zroa. Zroa is the right hand. Okay? Now the question is, when something is destined to a Kohen, when something is good for a Kohen, can a regular Israeli eat it? A regular Israeli can eat it? No. It's called Kodesh. It's called sacred. Okay? So normally, he should have cut the zroa before cooking the whole thing. Because if you cook the whole thing, this part, which is sacred, would render the whole thing sacred and you won't be able to eat it. So how come the Torah is telling us you should cook it whole and then cut off the right foot, and he gets the right to take it, and the rest the Nazir gets? Comes Tosfot and he explains to us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it in nature. Any ram that you take, if you cut off his right foot, one of the feet, you cut off the right foot, you'll find that the whole body is 60 times more than the foot. If you take the size of the foot and you weigh it, you're going to see that the whole body weighs 60 times more than the leg. This is where the Torah said it. The Torah didn't say shishim or shishim. The Torah gave us a law by Nazir, right? Nazir. Right? Nazir. And the law, in the law, we learned that the right foot of the ram has, the whole body of the ram has 60 times the right foot. Therefore, when you cooked it in the pot, it had 60 times, so everything is kosher. So you can give the piece, the big piece, to the Nazir, and you can give the thing to them. No, just the ram. Ram. And that's why we learned this law from a ram. Maybe by a cow it's more, but we learn it by a ram. So once we have it, we can apply it in the whole Torah. So now, why Pesach Mashu? Why Pesach Ikram? This is the barrier. This is the barrier that I want to put. They didn't want it. Why? Because somebody might have some Hametz fall in his pot. He might have some Hametz fall in his pot. And then he says, oh, I think they have 60 times. And he doesn't. He has 59. What is it going to be? Correct. Chachamim didn't want it. It's better the food should go to waste and not the soul to go to waste. So they made it strict. So that's why people go crazy. On Pesach, people go crazy. They clean, they wash. The Shulchan Aruch says, don't make fun of people washing their walls. You know that they used to paint the Bet HaMikdash, the temple, twice a year. Pesach and Sukkot. So the Rabbi Nishchai says that's why people have the custom. They don't know this, but a lot of people say, oh, before Pesach, let's paint the walls in case there's Hametz fall on the wall.
In Morocco, they used to do paint.
Yeah. They used to paint. It comes from Bet HaMikdash. Bet HaMikdash, they used to paint it twice a year, on Pesach and on Sukkot. This is the two times when they used to paint the Bet HaMikdash, right? So people paint, people wash, people go crazy, the products, right? But just for your information, 4 years ago in Miami, 4 years ago, there was no matzot. There was a lot of tourists, and the bakeries did not order enough matzot. People didn't know. They bought not kosher matzot. Matzah could be kosher and not kosher. Yeah. Yeah. Sarah Stans didn't have, Kosher Kingdom didn't have. So look, what's matzah? Matzah is a cracker. What's matzah? A cracker. The problem is, over here, sometimes over here, they write in small Hametz. So this they write in big, matzah, and this they write in small, and they write in small, even smaller, not for Pesach. So now you need to have your magnifier, not for Pesach. You should write this in big and this in small. So a lot of people, they saw matzah, they bought it. The other thing was at that same time, people bought kosher matzah, but it was not matzah. It was the same thing, same box, right? It was the same box, and then it was a blue box and a red box. Then wrote matzah here. Over here they wrote in small, not for seder. What does it mean? Not for seder. It was made out of potatoes. Potatoes. Oh yes.
They always first an NDA.
But
P.O.
You know what it is. Made out of potatoes. Right? So in small, they wrote not for the Seder. It's not kosher. It's kosher the Pesach. But it's not for the Seder.
But anyways, for
Why? Because the Seder, what do you need? Matzah shmura. Even regular matzah is not kosher for the Seder. Right? Even regular matzah is not kosher.
זה לא רק מחמירים, לא?
No. For the Seder, you must have matzah shmura. For the kazait, you must have matzah shmura. We're going to have a class about it. Next time, we're going to have a class about it. Okay? But this, it says in big matzah, and then not for the Seder. Means you have a big kosher sign of badatz, the best kashrut in Israel, badatz Yerushalayim. Over here, and over here, made from potatoes, not for the Seder. People don't know. They want to, people just want to do the right thing. But if you don't know, sometimes you can make big mistakes, right? So if you bring this to the Seder, first of all, it's not, you wash your hands, anetilat yadayim, that's not the motzi.
How about spelt?
Huh?
Can we have spelt?
Spelt, yeah. Spelt is the 5 grains. Spelt for people who are sensitive, who have gluten, non-tolerance for gluten, right? They eat spelt, right? They can eat oats, oat matzah also, right? Depending on the person, right? But not from potatoes. Not from potatoes. Okay? And for sure not Hametz. For sure not Hametz. So you have to read every product on the sticker of every product. What are you buying? You can have the same product, kosher and not kosher for Pesach, right? Even during the year, you can go to the supermarket and buy the same product. One product has kosher sign, one product does not have kosher sign, and you cannot say, "Oh, but I know I always buy it with the kosher sign, so maybe they forgot it." They didn't forget it. There's a reason why there's not. Because they make productions. What do I mean production? They go to a non-Jewish company, not kosher company, and they say, "We want to make 20,000 pieces." Okay. The night before, they kosher the machine. They make 20,000 pieces. That's it. After that, the company continues to make it not kosher. So it can be the same thing with kosher, with not kosher. Okay? Sometimes they would change one ingredient. I'll give you an example. Coke, for the ones who love Coca-Cola, right? Ashkenazim, they cannot have what's called kitniot. So they have to make a special production of Coke for Pesach, and they change only the sugar. Everything is the same, just the sugar, because the sugar is made out of corn, right? So they cannot eat corn, so they cannot drink the Coke. So they change the sugar into cane sugar. Okay? No, the company, the kashrut, right? It doesn't taste at all the same. Does not taste at all the same, right? Why people buy it? It tastes even awful. Why people buy it? Because the addiction. People are addicted, right? So they have to see the Coke. You see? So they buy it, but you have to know it's double the price, not the same taste, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason, because the ingredients were changed. One ingredient was changed to make it kosher Pesach, right? But this is one production. After this, that's it. It's like you're saying limited edition. Limited edition. Okay? So you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful when it comes to a thing, because then you're going to go into questions. You used it in the part, you didn't, right? This what we said, that on Pesach, b'mashu, it's 1 gram this is be-Pesach, on Pesach. But before Pesach, you do apply the laws of Shishim, of 60 times, right? And there's a lot of other laws you can apply. Let me give you another example. You know that if you take a pot of meat pot, right? And you cook meat. By mistake, somebody 3 hours later, he didn't know, or he forgot, or he didn't pay attention. He takes the pot, he puts milk inside with, I don't know, cheese, something, macaronis with cheese, whatever it is, and he cooks it. Malacha. Everything is not kosher. a pot that is used in 24 hours, they say it absorbs the taste of the food, which is meat. Now, in the 24 hours, when you cook inside, it also rejects the taste of meat into the pot. If you have milk inside, the milk receives now meat, and you have basar b'chalav. Right? So then you need shishim, not shishim, then balagan. Okay? Now, after 24 hours, by mistake, you cooked in a pot meat. 24 hours later, somebody made a mistake, and he takes the pot and he cooks macaroni and cheese. Okay? Kosher. The macaroni and cheese is kosher. You can eat it. The only thing, the pot, because it's besari, because it's used to meat, needs to be koshered. So you kosher the pot. But the macaroni and cheese is kosher. Why? After 24 hours, there's no more taste in the walls of the pot. Same, yeah. חלב. You cannot use the same pot. because זה נותן את הטעם. זה בשר בחלב. It's not kosher. Yeah. After 24 hours, by mistake. After 24 hours, by mistake, somebody looks at this pot, which is meat, cooked macaroni and cheese. The macaroni and cheese, after 24, means since there was 24 hours in between the two cookings, kasher. It's called in the halakha, noten ta'am nifgam. The taste becomes defected. After 24 hours, the taste that's in the walls, right, loses its taste. So even if it rejects something in the pot, it's not a good taste of meat. It's a defected taste of meat. And with the cheese, macaroni and cheese does not make it asur. So you can eat the macaroni and cheese, but the pot needs to be kosher now. Okay? Pesach, what's the halakha? What's the halakha for Pesach? So there's a big machloket, big discussion between the Sephardi opinion and the Ashkenaz. You should know Pesach, there's so many differences between Sephardi and Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz are very, very strict in their laws. Okay, we're going to see throughout the laws, they're so strict about their laws. Sephardi, the Shulchan Aruch, he went with the more lenient opinions. Okay, which is halakha. Is fine. They wanted just to be more strict, but halakha is okay. Okay. So the Shulchan Aruch says, what happens if somebody by mistake took a pot of the year round, Hametz pot, and cooked kosher Pesach stuff? Before Pesach or during Pesach? Says the Shulchan Aruch, since it has no taste, the food stays kosher. So the food is kosher. The Rama, which is Ashkenaz opinion, says no. The food is not kosher. So there's a very famous story. When Rav Ovadia Yosef was a young boy, right? He was learning in a yeshiva in front of the Kotel HaMaravi. It's called Porat Yosef. He was coming out of there, and he sees a lady with a pot in her hand, and she was crying. So he told her, "Excuse me, why are you crying?" She told him they don't have so much money, and by mistake she wanted to cook something, and her daughter cooked it in a pot of year-round, Hametz pot. And she just coming from the rabbi's house, and she asked the rabbi, and the rabbi told her everything is asur. The food is to throw to the garbage, the pot is to put away. So Rav Yosef asked her, "Tell me, when was the last time you used the pot?" "Oh, 2 weeks ago." "You Sephardi or Ashkenaz?" He told her, "I'm Sephardi." So he told her, "What's the problem? The food is kosher." So he told him, "No." He says, "Yeah, the food is kosher." So she thought he was joking. So she told him, "Ata tochal? You would eat it?" He says, "Yeah. You want me to buy it? I want to buy it. I want to buy it from you." So when she saw he's so sure of himself, she said, "Wow, I'm happy. So why did the rabbi told me it's not kosher?" He says, "Because he's Ashkenaz." For Ashkenaz, no. And she was blonde. He says, "You look blonde, blue eyes, you look Ashkenaz." So he thought you're Ashkenaz. That's why he told you. The rabbi wasn't wrong. He's Ashkenaz and you look Ashkenaz, that's what I told you. But since you're Sephardi, it's kosher, right? So, you understand? So, sometimes,
לא, אבל אולי הרב הזה לא יודע שאצל הספרדים זה היה ככה.
could be. That's why one of the strongest point of Rav Ovadia Yosef was, right? Always he would ask you, are you Ashkenaz or Sephardi? Because it's very important to give to a Sephardi halacha, Shulchan Aruch. And it's very important to Ashkenaz because Ashkenaz are very strict. Sephardim are strict on two things. On two things. What? Sephardim are strict on meat. It should be Bet Yosef. Which means when you slaughter the cow and you take out the lungs should be completely smooth. Nothing on top of the lung. The Rama, Ashkenaz opinion, says, no, even if it has small scars, if you can just pull them out, right, they come off, it's kosher. Shulchan Aruch says, Areh ze taref. This is taref, this is not kosher. This is one strict point of the Shulchan Aruch. That's why lately many people are looking for Bet Yosef, right? And sometimes, unfortunately, in bakeries, they know it's something very thing. Is if it's not trustworthy person, they just put stickers Bet Yosef. This is one thing. Second thing, Sephardi are very strict, right? Is Bishul Israel, which means what? When you cook and you give it to your maid or you give it to a non-Jew to cook in a big kitchen, the owner is Jewish, but the chef is not Jewish, right? What do you have to do? We all know that the mashgiach, which is in the kitchen, has to light the fires. So he comes early morning before the workers come, he lights all the fires, and when the workers come, they start cooking. The Rama says, if you light the fire for the goy can cook by himself. Kosher stuff, for sure, right? Everything is kosher. Comes the Shulchan Aruch, Rabbi Yosef Karo says, no. Not only that you have to open the fire, you have to put the pot on the fire. This is part of the koshering process, to put the pot on the fire. So if the goy puts the pot on the fire, it's not kosher. Bishul akum. And the Bet Yosef was very strict. And if the goy you lit the fire, and the goy put the pot with food on the fire, you have at least to stir in the pot when it's not cooked yet. Once it's cooked, it's too late, right? This is very strict, right? So that's why a lot of kosher, you have KM, you have ORB, all kinds of kosher, right? You have OU, they rely on the Rama, which is Ashkenaz. They tell you once Mashgiach opened the fire, it's good enough. The goyim can cook the whole day, right? Shulchan Aruch, no. So if you go to a restaurant,
baking?
Huh?
Or baking?
Baking, no. Baking is easier. Baking bread and cookies and cakes, you can just open the fire. This is But for food, you need, for Bet Yosef, you have to put the food on the fire, right? So many restaurants, when you go to restaurants, the first thing is to do before you order food, can I speak to the Mashgiach? So the Mashgiach comes, says, how can I help you? He says, I'm Sephardi. I want you to put the food on the fire. No problem. No problem. They do it, right? As a general rule, they don't do it. Why? Because they work for places that go according to Ashkenaz. So for them, they tell them, you just have to open the fire. That's it. Let the goyim cook. So the Mashgiach checks the vegetables. The Mashgiach puts other stuff, right? But if you go and you wanted to have it Sephardi way, you tell them, could you put the food? Yeah, sure, no problem. You make a wedding, you make a bar mitzvah, and you want to have Bet Yosef for your guest, right? So tell the caterer, please, I want everything to be Bet Yosef. They're going to tell you right away, no, it's too hard, I need the mashgiach to check the vegetables. Okay, I'll hire a second mashgiach. You're going to pay for an extra mashgiach maybe $150. Right, for a few hours, 10 hours, $16, $20 an hour, right? You need them for 5-6 hours. So I'm going to hire a mashgiach just to put all the food in the oven. It's going to cost you $200. And for $200, you got everybody. It's very easy. You put the fish, right? When you take out the fish, then he puts the meat. It's very easy. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. The caterer don't like the mashgiach to do that because they have other jobs for him. Okay? But you say, no problem, I'll help you. I'll get you a second mashgiach. You get the mashgiach, I pay him. You get mashgiach, I pay. Right? So this is, right, one difference during the year where Sephardi are much more strict than Ashkenaz. But for the rest of the year, Sephardi, halacha, for Shabbat, for holidays, for everything. And for Pesach also. Right? So let me give you examples for Pesach. Okay? We spoke about this week a little bit, but for Sephardim, right, the Shulchan Aruch says, if you have meat in the freezer that you bought during the year, you can use the same meat as long as you know that the butcher shop does not put any spices or something. Meat is meat, there's nothing not kosher, right? You know what they do in the butcher shops? After Purim, they close up the butcher shop, the kitchen, they kosher the whole, they don't close the butcher shop, but the kitchen, they kosher the whole counters. Why? Because they're using regular salt. For Pesach, they're using kosher salt lePesach, right? What can be not kosher in salt? Because salt is not pure. Today's salt, they put vitamins, they put organ. One of the things they put is iode, I-O-D-E, iodine, right? Iodine. So they put it right. So it's on when you go to buy in a bakery, in a grocery, you're going to see iodized salt, right? For some people, it's very healthy. Iodine is a very healthy mineral for your body. Okay, so people buy it to drink, but Pesach you cannot. Why? So the problem is with iodine, salt, it has also sometimes kitniot. It comes from kitniot, right? So Ashkenaz cannot eat kitniot, so they have to kosher the whole butcher shop. Sephardi, they could, right? So, anyways, there's no Hametz, right? And the iodine, even if it comes from corn, whatever they make it from, it's kosher, right? But now, what's the problem? What's the not fair part about it? They kosher the whole place, and they raise the price double. Why? Why? You change the salt. How much salt would cost you? How much salt would cost you? Maybe another $100, $200, $500, right? How much koshering the kitchen, one day of koshering the kitchen is going to cost you? $200, $300. Let's say in total, maybe it cost them $1,000. Let's say, exaggerate, super huge bakery, butcher shop, $2,000. That's not the reason to raise the price. People buy so much. Now not more anymore. But people buy so much meat. You're gonna make this $1,000 or $2,000 in no time. First batch that you're gonna sell in the fridge, you made your money back. Everything is profit. So there's no reason to raise the price and to kill people if they cannot afford it, right? So therefore, if you have meat in your freezer, use it for Pesach. No problem. There's no spices, there's no nothing, right? Even the Rama says, if you don't have meat, just this meat, you can rinse it 3 times, you can use it for Pesach. Right? So this is one thing. Another thing, frozen fish. You have frozen fish, right? You can use it for Pesach. Right? Now the only thing in frozen fish, it has to be only fish. Only fish. But if besides fish, always read the ingredients. What does it say? Right? If besides fish it says other ingredients, then watch out. Okay, then you have to watch out because there could be chametz. For example, in the crabs, the fake crabs, right? They put flour, and it says in the ingredients, right? So if you like to make crab salad or whatever, right, or sushi yourself, right, you should buy with echsher. Because on the box, not all of companies, but you have to read, right? You have to read. Some companies would say flour in the ingredients, okay? So by fish also, it doesn't have flour, but it would say products that contain flour. So if it's pure fish, you buy it in Costco, pure frozen fish, it's okay. But the only thing, fish, year round, not for Pesach, always must have skin on the fish, right? If you buy tilapia, if you buy frozen tilapia, if you buy frozen salmon, frozen anything, trout, any fish, always with skin, right? The OU, they say if the fish, the salmon, doesn't have skin, we can recognize the salmon by its color. But it's a very big, they say, but they don't tell people just buy it like this. They say, if you bought it and you stock, whatever, you could use it, okay? But as a general rule, you go to a fish store and you buy frozen fish, right? Or any fish, fresh fish, even if you recognize the fish, you see the color, you cannot count on this. Many times, for example, I'll tell you, for salmon, there is a fish similar to salmon. It's called rock salmon. The rock salmon. It's a not kosher fish. And it's a fish that has almost the same color as the salmon, right? But it's not kosher. Right? So you cannot buy salmon just, oh, I recognize the color. No. You must have thing. Second thing you have to watch out when you buy fish all year round, Pesach all year round, right? You cannot buy ground fish in a not kosher store. Okay? Can. You can buy fish, you can buy if you don't have a choice. It's always better to buy fish in a kosher store. Okay? Sometimes, unfortunately, the prices are, right? Exaggerate. But you should buy. But let's say you're stuck somewhere, you go to Mexico, you go to somewhere, and you have to buy fish, right? Raw fish, right? You want to buy raw fish, right? Always, right? You have to make sure it has a skin on, right? You have to make sure that the fish has the skin, and you see the skin, so he takes it off in front of you. The problem is the knife. Okay? The guy caught the shark 10 minutes ago. He caught a shark, steaks. He takes the knife, he takes a Kleenex, he rinses with the water. They have always but fish has a lot of grease. The knife is greasy. And if the grease, when he cuts a shark or crab or whatever he cuts, and the grease is on the knife, going to the faucet and doing like this for 1 second, the grease is still there. Now he takes this thing, he takes your kosher salmon with the skin that you saw, right? And he starts slicing it for you or filleting it for you. The fish is full of non-kosher fat. Okay? Some people would go to such stores with their own knife. Some people would bring their own knife, right? Sometimes they don't like it because they have professional knives, okay? So, tell me, you know what? Do me a favor.
Take the fish.
No, take the fish, you cut it out, or tell them, please, I want you to rinse the knife good with soap. I want you to rinse your knife with soap good, right? Tell them you're allergic to thing, and then he cuts it. When you come home, you take the pieces and you rinse them with cold water, just with cold water to take out in case there's left, right? So this is if you have to buy your fish in not kosher fish store. But if you go to not kosher fish store and they grind the fish, there's no koshering. You cannot buy it. Why? In the grinder, if he puts a shark or if he puts a not kosher fish, all the fat is inside. When you grind your kosher fish, the fat got stick on your fish and you cannot even wash it. It's ground. It's ground fish. Ground fish you can never buy in a non-kosher fish store market. You must buy it in a kosher marketplace. Okay? That's if you want ground fish. Besides this, if you want to go catch fish your own, cut it, do it, right? The best, right? Then you know what you're eating, right?
אז אני אעשה לכם סיבוב בסירה לפני פסח. נביא חוטי דייג, גם אין לכם כאב וגם תוציאו דגים ישר. יאללה. תארגנו יום.
Bezrat Hashem. Okay, so like I said, Ashkenaz would not accept frozen fish before Pesach. They say maybe you salted it, or there, okay? So they don't touch it. For us, it's okay. So frozen meat, frozen fish, all these things is okay. Okay? Now, as I said, there's a lot of differences, Sepharad, Ashkenaz, right? But for this, we have to learn so much, right? You have to learn so much. Let's start, okay? One of the differences is, the Gemara says, one rabbi asked the other one, tell me, how do you kosher a knife for Pesach? So the other rabbi answered him, well, I don't kosher knives. I buy new knives. I have dishes for Pesach. I buy new knives. So he told him back, Very good. You have the possibility to do that. But some people cannot afford that. So I'm asking you to know the halakha. It's good to be strict, but sometimes you want to know the halakha because you have to know in a certain situation what to do. Okay, so he told them how to kosher the knife, right? So again, the same thing. Sometimes ladies, they get attached to pots. Certain pots, they cook so good, the food comes, not all pots, sometimes, many times, the cooking depends on the pot, right? So a lady is used to a certain pot, and this is her favorite pot, and she wants to kosher it for Pesach, right? So over here, again, there is some differences, Sefarad, Ashkenaz, okay? Let me give you a quick example. You have glassware, you have metal, you have plastic, you have porcelain. You can have also bone, let's say bone china, 5. Bone, okay? And what else you can have? Other material, we'll see as we go along. So, for example, if I take glass, according to Shulchan Aruch, glass does not need koshering. Not for Pesach and not for year round, which means you can eat a steak in a glass plate, wash it, 6 hours later, take this glass and put a lasagna on top of it. As long as it's clean, it's good. Glass does not absorb for Sefarad.
something.
Right. But glass does not, right? Ashkenaz say no. Glass needs koshering. It absorbs, right? Example. What about drinking cups? Right? What about drinking cups? You have cups made out of glass. How do you kosher them? Okay? Shulchan Aruch says cold water and soap. So if you have your whiskey cups from the year and you want to use it for Pesach, you're not going to use whiskey is Hametz, you can kosher it. You can just kosher it by cold water and soap. Any cup, anything made of glass. You have teacups. Any cup that you use during the year could be used for Pesach by rinsing it with cold water and soap. For Sephardim. For Ashkenazim, what do you need to do? You need to fill up the cup with water till the top. Okay? Till the top, you have to fill it up with water. Okay? You fill it up with water. Now, 24 hours. After 24 hours, you spill out the water and you refill it again with water for 24 hours again. After you spill out the water, you fill it up with water for 24 hours again. That makes a total of 72 hours. After 72 hours, the cup is kosher for Pesach, according to Ashkenazim. The Rab Ben Ishchai does bring this halakha. For some people that were strict like Ashkenazim, they would use this system. So you see, Ashkenazim, if they want to kosher their glassware, they have to do this process for 72 hours. So they have to take a counter, put all the cups, fill it up with water, 24 hours exact. Come the next day, spill everything, fill up everything. Just water. Right? So they say, we have a rule, kavush kimvushal. Something gets soaked 24 hours, it's like cooked. Okay? So you do it 3 times, so whatever is absorbed in the glass, right, gets rejected, then it's kosher. Shulchan Aruch says doesn't absorb. There's an interesting halakha. This interesting halakha was a discussion between 2 Sephardi rabbis, neighbors, Rav Adai Yosef, Rabbi Tzion Abba Shaul. Rav Adai Yosef said, water and soap, no need more than that. Okay, one time, like regular. You can even put in your dishwasher. You clean your dishwasher. You make sure your dishwasher is kosher for Pesach. What does it mean kosher for Pesach? You clean out everything. You go to the filter. On the bottom of the dishwasher, there's a filter. You take out the filter, you clean it, you rinse the filter, no more Hametz, everything is okay. You put back the filter, make an empty cycle with water and soap. The dishwater is kosher for Pesach. You can put all your cups inside, kosher for Pesach, in a dishwasher. Okay? Rav Yosef said, glass does not absorb. His neighbor, big Talmid Chacham, Rabbi Tzon Abba Shaul, one of the biggest Chachamim Sfaradim, his neighbor, and they were friends, very good friends. What did he do? He put water in a cup. He measured the cup before putting the water. He took the cup, he put water 24 hours, and he measured the cup after putting the water. And he saw there was a difference of like a gram or two. The cup was heavier by 1 gram. So he thought, heavier. What does it mean? Because it's absorbed. So it got absorbed water inside. So he told Rav Yosef, you see, why you say glass does not absorb? It becomes heavier. So Rav Yosef says, yes, it does absorb a very minute quantity of the food, of the water, whatever it is. But it says this small amount does not count as absorption. According to Rishonim means the Ran, Rabbeinu Nisim. According to Rabbi Rishonim, that's Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. A lot of they said doesn't count. You disregard it because it's so minute it doesn't count. So minute, right? Therefore, if you have Pyrex, you know what's Pyrex? Cooking ware, Pyrex. They do lasagna inside, they cook meat, they cook, right? And it goes in the oven, right? Those, even if you cook chametz during the year, water and soap. Cold water and soap. No need more than that. Glass does not absorb for Sephardim. Ashkenaz have to go through this process. Let's take the porcelain. Okay? Porcelain, according to everybody, cannot be kosher. Porcelain absorbs, but cannot reject completely. Which means it could reject, but always something left in the plate or in the pot, whatever it's porcelain, right? So you cook again, it rejects a little bit, something stays. So therefore, porcelain is not kosherable. But there is plates who look like porcelain. When you turn the plate around, it says bone china. Bone china. Bone china is made out of bone, as it sounds. It's made out of bone. Bone is kosherable.
Bone of food.
Huh? Bones. That's somewhat. That's why a lot of
That's not what you mean.
shel chayot. But there's a lot of Ashkenaz people in the world. They don't buy any bone china from Germany because they say they used bodies of the 6 million right burnt over there. They used to use it to make earth. They make plates. They make all kind, right? But if you buy it from China, bone china, if you buy it from China, right? Bone china does not mean it comes from China. It can say bone china, made in England, made in Germany, made in this, right? So you have to see where it comes from, right? But bone china is bone. Though it looks exactly like porcelain, it looks exactly, you wouldn't know the difference unless somebody really is an expert. But you wouldn't know the difference. It looks like a china, like a porcelain, right? But when you turn the plate and you look what it says, now bone china, if it doesn't say anything, it's porcelain. Because bone china sometimes is more expensive porcelain. There is very expensive porcelain too, right? But if it's bone china, it would say on the plate in the back. Okay? This could be koshered. How do you kosher it? You take a pot, you make it, fill it with water, let it boil. Once it boils, you take each plate and you dip it 3 times in the water. Completely in the water, take it out and rinse it with cold water and it becomes kosher. So this is, if you don't have a special set for Pesach, people try to have their own dishes for Pesach, you'll be able to kosher bone china for Pesach, right? For Pesach. Now, porcelain is not kosherable, bone china. Plastic. Okay, plastic. So Ashkenaz say plastic is not kosherable. Rav Yosef says plastic is kosherable. Okay? They say they're not sure if you can kosher it or not, right? Now, all this is when it was used in hot. But let's say you have Tupperwares, not the ones that you put in the microwave. This is hot. But you have Tupperwares for salads, for Shabbat. So you have your Tupperwares of salads, right? You never use it in hot. You never use it in hot, right? These don't need agala, just water and soap. Because agala you use only for kelim shishtamshu becham, that you use hot. Okay? Porcelain, you use hot. You put steaks. You put hot potatoes. You put sometimes Hametz, right? Bone china, you use hot, right? Glass, sometimes you use hot, but it doesn't need agala, right? So plastic also, if you use it with hot and you want to use them, right? You'll be able to kosher them. How you kosher plastic? You have to watch out. It shouldn't melt, but if it's a good solid plastic, with the urn, with the kettle, and you pour on top of it hot water. No, plastic can be also plastic that's not. There's a lot of plastic that you can reuse, right? If you can buy new ones today in the dollar store, they sell them. They're cheap, right? It's even time to change for the year round. You throw the old ones, you keep them. You buy new ones, right? But plastic, you can reuse plastic. It's not the one-time use. No, there's good plastic that you can reuse. Okay, and then what's left? Metal. Metal is kosherable according to everybody, depending what you did with it, right? Depending what you did with it. The only problem with metal sometimes, is the pans which have inside the teflon, right? The tefal is plastic. The coating of the black tefal coating in a pan or pot sometimes is plastic. So Ashkenaz do not accept it because according to them, plastic is not kosherable. For Sephardim, you could kosher it, right? But safety-wise and koshering-wise, if the tefal has scratches, they say it's not healthy to use it. It's very dangerous for your health to use it. When you start to scratch your pan, you start having scratches on your pan or in your pot with tefal, just throw it. Don't even use it for the year. It's dangerous, right? And for Pesach, it's not kosherable, even for Sephardim. For Sephardim, it's not kosherable, right? So tefal is kosherable, but it has to be complete. No scratch on the thing. Okay. Okay. So this is a little bit of differences, right? This is the way to go. It's a little bit differences. We spoke about the pot. Remember, we spoke about the pot, that after 24 hours, if it was by mistake used, for Sephardim the food is kosher, for Ashkenazim it's not kosher, right? There's a lot of differences, right? But this demands, right? We have a month. From now on, we have a month, right? So every day, we're going to have to learn a little bit of those halakhot, right? There's so many of them, especially for the kosher food, what we can use. The kitniot, right? The kitniot, which is a big issue for Ashkenazim, cannot have it. Sephardim, what happens if your son-in-law is Ashkenaz, or your daughter-in-law is Ashkenaz, or if you receive guests, neighbors, friends, Ashkenaz, right? All these, maybe next class, we'll talk about the kitniot. How did they start? Where did they start? What's the problem? How you can get around it? Does Sephardim hold of it? Do not hold it? But this is a whole class by itself. So till next time, let Hashem, we're good for now. Amen ve'amen.